Pregame.tv, Baltimore hosting Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay was supposed to be a contender this year, not doing so well. Slow start to the year. Bryan Leonard, they going to turn this around? What's going on?
I sure hope so. I took them to win the division.
I like them. I like this team.
I remember a video talking about how good they're going to be.
I'm high on Tampa, but right now they're not hitting at all. Matt Moore's going today for Tampa, and anytime you back a big strikeout pitcher, a guy, a Justin Verlander, Scherzer, anytime you get a guy that throws a lot of strikeouts, the public likes to bet on him. So you're rarely going to find value in a pitcher like that. And if you take a look at what he's done so far this year, he's basically been untouchable. The opposition's got a 182 average when he faces lefties, an 042 average when he faces righties. Those numbers just aren't sustainable. He's got a career 14-11 record with a 3.55 ERA. Pretty good numbers, but he does pitch in a pitcher's park. And in fact, in his games, the 14-11, 56% of the time that he starts and he gets the decision, Tampa wins. But overall, during that time, the Rays win 55% of the time. So basically, you're paying a premium for a guy who's given you an average. And right now, the way he's been playing, everybody's going to want to jump on him. I think there's some value here with Baltimore.
I agree. Long term, I think Tampa's a buy team. It's a team I think you can make some money on because they're not getting any of the hype right now the way they've come out of the gate. And let's face it, recreational bettors, casual bettors, they love offense. And this is a team that just isn't producing many runs right now. I mean, 2.9 runs per game for an American League team is awful. So they're not going to get much love. And that's why I think long term, it's a buy. But right now in this matchup, I agree with you. I think Moore's definitely overvalued. And there's a reason he spent 7 years or so in the farm leagues. It's not like he's this dominant prospect. I think on the flip side, you look at Tillman, he's been brought along slowly for Baltimore. I mean, they've been really bringing him along, 55, 60 inning range, 70 innings, 80 innings a year. He hasn't had to be dropped down to AAA or anything like that. I mean, he's a prospect.
Part of the reason is when they brought him up, they weren't very good, number one.
Right.
But number two is he didn't have a lot of success. So, Moore's been pretty good the entire time they brought him up.
Yeah. But he pitched a lot last year, 211 innings.
He did. But Tillman last year did really well, 2.93 ERA. So he's starting to come around. He didn't pitch very well in his opener. The last game at Boston, he pitched well. A lot of times we'll get these highly touted prospects that come up, and they don't have a lot of success right off the bat. And so people forget about him. And Tillman was one of those guys, whereas Moore's had more success since he's been up in the majors.
Yeah, I like the side. I like it. And Baltimore has a plus run differential right now.
Which is amazing considering how bad the run differential was last year, and they still had such a great year. Let's go ahead and make it official.
Yeah, VR pointed out how Tampa's really struggling offensively right now. As I mentioned, Moore's going to be overvalued here. And right now, if you take a look at what he's traditionally done and what he's done this year, I mean, there's nowhere to go but down. I mean, he just is not as good a pitcher as he looks so far this season. I don't think he's turned it around. I've watched his starts. He's got the same stuff as he has had in the past. Take a look at a Baltimore team. They could put some runs up on the board. They're hitting very well. They won the last 2 years 57% of their home games. I think there's some value here. I like Tampa on the season. They're just not playing well enough now to me to trust them as a road favorite. I'll take Baltimore as the home dog here.
I like it.
Very good. And one point with this total being 8.3, not nearly as good to do the home dog parlay to the under because you don't get that, the win by that half a run, 4-3 final.
I agree.
And you point out what you mean by 8.3.
It's either over 8, lay $1.20, or under 8.5, lay $1.20. So when I say 8.3 all the time, I just take pretty much an average of what a total will be. So sometimes in the NBA,
big added to the flat number.
Right. So like the Lakers in Houston right now, the overs, I'd say that the total is 202 3/4 because it's split 2.5 to 203.
Right.
So I just say 202.8, and people look
the market average.
And I've told Sean Hess this for like 12 years, and he still doesn't know what that.
I just don't want people looking out there
what the heck I'm
for an 8 point. I'm going to go over it. I'm going to go under 8.3.
It's 8.5.
Even if it's 8.01, that's all I need. It's going to catch. So thank goodness. No, baseball's too confusing to bet on. So stick with us. Pregame.tv. We'll come back a little football. Where's the football? We'll go ahead and be breaking down an NBA winner. Of course, I'm not certain it's going to win. That's going to win. Detroit at Brooklyn. Stay tuned. I'll give you the winner in that game.